Hi everyone, it's Sherry. I hope that you are having a wonderful day. Well, with Christmas being next week, the Christmas crafting season for me is coming to an end. I only have one or two more projects that I'll be crafting for Christmas, and then I'm going to move on to other types of paper crafting. And I wanted to share with you guys what I'm working on right now. My neighborhood is having a cookie swap at our clubhouse on Friday, and I decided that I would participate. They do it every year, and I've never participated before. And this year I decided, okay, I'm going to go outside of my comfort zone and just participate. So what we have to do is we have to make one or two types of cookies, but we also have to bring the recipe. So it's a cookie and a recipe swap. And I don't know what types of cookies I'm going to make yet, but I will start making those in the next day or two. And I'm going to be presenting my recipe using the Bo Bunny recipe stamp that I think all of us have found so helpful and useful this Christmas season. It'll actually be the first time that I've been able to use this stamp, or I've had a reason to use this stamp. So it will be perfect for sharing my cookie recipe. And me being me, I don't just want to give a recipe card or have a recipe card along with each little baggie of cookies that I'll be taking. I want to make sure that my presentation is just super cute. So I'm working on little cookie boxes for the cookies that I will be sharing. And I'm also working on a very cute way of presenting the recipe. So here's what I've come up with, and I'm going to open this one. So I took the recipe card and I mounted it on two different pieces of paper. So I used a green mat, and then I mounted the green mat on a red mat. And I think it turned out very well. And I was just going to hand it out like this, and I thought, well, you know, I can cuten that up just a little bit more. So I went to some of my remaining double-sided Christmas paper, and I chose a few sheets, and I'm going to use that paper to make some really cute and fun recipe card envelopes. And then I decided, okay, I can't just stop at putting it in an envelope. I need to dress it up just a little bit. So I'm wrapping some cording around the envelope. I wrapped it around 3 times, or two or three times, I think. And then I tied it off in a bow, and I put some jingle bells. And then the last thing that I'll be doing is finding a very cute little sticker to put on here so that my name shows on the outside. So I'm going to walk you guys through the steps of how I did this. And I'll be using my stamping tool from Tonic by Tim Holtz, or Tonic Studios by Tim Holtz. It really makes stamping very easy and very consistent. So let me open this up. And I just have this piece of paper here because I didn't want any of the ink that was on the stamp to actually get on the piece of paper that I'm about to stamp. So I am going to use this Memento Tuxedo Black ink, and I think I got this from Michaels. I'm pretty sure that I did, but I will look it up and put it in the description. So all I'm going to do is just really ink my stamp very well, because I want a really good impression on the paper. So I'm really trying to get ink everywhere on this stamp. And the beauty of the stamping tool is if you miss a spot, because you've got the stamp here and you've got your paper held down here by a magnet, if you miss a spot, you can just go back over it with ink and just reapply it. So I am going to close this over. Then I'm going to stand up because I need to put some pressure on this. Okay, that should do it. Let's see what we have. Yeah, I'm okay with that. So now all I need to do is I'm going to go ahead and clean off my stamp. And I just use any type of a hand sanitizing wipe to clean my stamp. Probably going to get a lot of comments saying, you're ruining the stamp. But it works for me, and it's what I've always used. So I haven't ruined a stamp yet. Okay, so I've got 2 of these that I need to trim down, and I am going to trim them down to 5.5 by 3 5/8. So I'm actually going to take off a great deal of paper. And I'm using this trimmer because the blades on my other trimmer are getting so dull, and I've got to order some new ones, and I simply haven't. And I don't even think they sell them in the store. So I've got to get some new blades. And one thing that was throwing me when I was trimming down this stamp is the fact that it looked crooked. Well, it's not crooked. The stamp is not a straight cut stamp. It's actually kind of wavy in the lines, and so if you decide to cut it down, don't let that throw you off like it did me, because I kept thinking, boy, I just can't stamp straight. But I was. See what we've got here. Move this out of the way. And then these are the 2 mats that I'm using. So I will be mounting the recipe card itself to the green mat, and then I'll mount the green mat to the red mat. And my mat sizes measure, the green mat is my smaller mat, and it measures 5 3/4 by 3 7/8. And then the red mat measures 6 by 4. So I am going to use my tape runner for this. And this is a tape runner that I got from HSN. They always have, or Anna Griffin always has, a monthly special on HSN where she does some type of a presentation, and she had a nice bundle on her tape runners, so I loaded up on them. I got the big runner, and then it was a bundle that had a bunch of small runners, but it also came with a bunch of tape refills, which was perfect. So all I'm doing now is trying to center this as best I can on my green card, and then I'm going to go ahead, move over to the red one, and just tape it up. All right, so now I will center this one on this card. Okay. And I'm just going to rub the back a little bit so that I can get that stuck. And then I'm going to do the same thing with my second one. I am going to just go along and just get glue on here. And then I'll glue it here. Just going to place it, get my placement down. I'm also going to use these the recipe card to create a recipe box. I've had an idea for one for a while, and I want to give it a try. So that'll be a project that you guys will see pretty soon. But I signed up for the TN swap that Dina is doing. Never made a TN before, so I'm going to give that a little bit of my attention because I want to make sure that whoever my swap partner is, I don't disappoint them because I have never done a TN. All right, so we've got this one down. So we've got 2 cards. Now I want to make 2 envelopes for these. And this is just some papers that I had left over from various packs that I've used throughout this crafting season. So I am going to make the envelopes using my envelope punch board. And this envelope that I'm making is for a card that measures 6 by 4 or 4 by 6. And for that, you need to start with a piece of paper that measures 8 1/4 by 8 1/4. And you score it once at 3 3/8. So I am going to position it here at 3 3/8. I'll punch, and then I'll take my scoring tool and just score all the way down. That's the only time that I am going to punch using this guide here. Every other time that I punch, all I'm doing is lining up this tip with the score line that I just put down. And this envelope tool, if you don't have it and you really want to get into paper crafting, is one of the tools that I would definitely add to my collection. Okay, so all I'm doing is finding my score line and punching. And then I'll move this out of the way. And then what I have is an envelope. So all I'm going to do is fold and score. Fold and burnish. I used to make all of my envelopes without any type of a tool, and it took time. It can be done, but it took time. So this is my envelope, and I am going to just glue it. So for me, this is how I do it. I place a little dollop of glue right in there, right here at these peaks. Not much is coming out. Okay, so there we go. And then starting here, this is my bottom flap, I place glue to about right there. So I'll come up from the bottom, angle in, following the card, and then just come up. And then I'll just smooth it down. And let's take our card and see if we have a fit. And we do. So now let's do the other one. So again, we are starting with a piece of paper that measures 8 1/4 by 8 1/4. We are going to position the paper in at 3 3/8. We punch and score. And then we don't use this scoring measuring guide anymore. What we do is we find our score line and we line it up with this point here. We punch and we score. And you just do that all the way around. And don't worry about if your guide isn't perfect. to the score line, it really won't affect your envelope. You can make it work. This also has a rounder, a corner rounder here in the back. Sometimes I'll use it, sometimes I won't. I'm doing it right now just to show you guys. But it gives you a nice rounded edge to your envelope. So we are done with our envelope maker. And I think that I want to use this side of my paper. I thought I wanted to use the plaid, but I think I'm going to use the flowers since it looks more feminine. And I'm being judgmental here, but I think most of the people at the Cookie Swap will probably just be women. So I'm going to go for a more feminine presentation. So I am going to place my glue here, and then I'll come up from the bottom and just come up and follow the curve of the envelope, put it down, and then smooth it down. You don't want to bring your glue all the way to the top here because then you've closed off your envelope. All right, so let's try our final card. Perfect. So for the back side of my recipe card, I will be adding another stamped image on light colored paper, but I'm not going to add any green matting to it because I don't want it to be too thick. But I'm going to put the back side here just in case I don't have enough room to fully write out the recipe here. I will continue it on the back side. So let's put that in there. And now I've got 4 of these done already. And what I'm going to do is, let me get my red cording. Okay, so I am going to cutesy up the outside of the envelope, and I'm using about a yard of red cord. You can use twine, you can use ribbon, whatever you have, whatever you want to use if you choose to do it like this. So what I'm doing is my starting piece, I'm going to leave a tail about this long, and then all I'm doing is just wrapping it around, and it's actually going to wrap around about 3 times. And then what I'll do is I will pull it all together, take my tail piece, and just bring it through underneath. And that allows me to be able to tie off all of the cording. So I can tie a knot, and then I'm just going to tie a bow. So I will take a couple of Jingle Bells, feed those through, and then just tie it off in a knot. So there's one. I'm going to cut some of that off. I'll take my other Jingle Bell, feed it through, feed my cord through. And tie a knot. Okay, let me go back and fix my bow before I actually cut my Jingle Bell cording, in case I want it just a little bit longer. And so there you have it. We've got 2 of those now. So I'm going to go back and do the rest of these off camera. So all I'll be doing is wrapping my cording around, adding some Jingle Bells, and finishing off my project. So this is how I will be giving my recipes for my Cookie Swap. So you guys have a great day. Try this project. Have fun. Thanks. Bye.